Welcome back to Roommate Confessions. Today we have Vivian. Vivian, welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, we're excited to hear all about you, kind of some of the stuff you've experienced with roommates. But first, let's tell the listeners and, of course, ourselves, where are you from?
I am from Pennsylvania, and I am currently living in Nashville, Tennessee.
Awesome.
All
What
right.
brought you to Nashville?
I moved down here to go to school and loved it so much I never left.
That's great.
Awesome. And you said, as we were getting to know you, said music.
Yes. I am a musician. I was in an indie rock band for a little while. We
Cool.
have since disbanded. I'm now working on a solo pop project.
Great.
So just any entertaining that I can do,
Yeah.
I'm always down.
That's
Well,
so
there's definitely
great.
no shortage of music in Nashville.
No, there's not.
So you're in the
No,
right
there's
place.
not.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that is so awesome. What is your favorite genre of music? I guess for you, and then to listen to. Maybe it's different for you to perform versus listen.
Those are two very difficult questions. I think to perform, I really like pop or rock, like something kind of with attitude and that can get the crowd excited because I really like to feed off of that energy. And then in terms of listening, it really depends. I've been very into, kind of indie folk stuff right now as
Oh,
it's getting
cool.
into the fall season.
Yeah.
But, kind of just changes depending on my mood.
Love it.
That's great.
Favorite? Oh, go ahead. You
Can I
have a
share a quick story in
Of
regards to
course.
the pump up, the energy, and getting a shout out from my favorite band of all time?
This is his claim to fame.
This is my only claim to fame. So I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert in 2015. We were third row, dead center. And my buddy says to me before the concert, they're going to be feeding off our energy. They can't see the entire audience, but they can definitely see 3 rows ahead of them. So I'm wearing a jersey and some shorts with basketball shoes so I can jump around and go nuts. After the third song, they stopped the concert. Flea, the bassist, says, I hope everybody's having a good time, filled with joy. Now, the jersey that I'm wearing is a Celtics jersey, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are diehard Lakers fan. Flea looks over the microphone and he says, "Go Lakers!" But we're in the building or the stadium where the Warriors play. So all the Warriors fans start booing Flea on stage. He says, I got a soft spot for the Warriors. Anyway, a moment later, he gives a shout out to these Brazilian guys who were following them around on their entire tour around America. Anthony Kiedis, keep in mind, there's 2 beams of light that are either highlighting Flea or Anthony Kiedis in between songs. One beam of light comes out on Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer, and he goes, ha, 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 ha. He goes, excuse me, security, can you please have this man removed in the Celtics jersey? So I'm like, oh my God. My buddy's like, they're talking to you.
no.
They're talking to
Yeah.
you. So I take the jersey off and I throw it out into the audience. And he goes, I'm kidding. Because the guys in the blue shirts started walking towards me. He says, I'm kidding. If it was a regular night, we'd kick your ass. And then Flea jumps in and he says, it's a love thing, man. We're here to rock together. So that's my claim to fame. Definitely the energy in the concerts and with music goes a long way. And my favorite band of all time called me out in the middle of a concert.
Yeah, with you failed to mention, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers, there's got to be how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people there?
Yeah, really. They all just said they were going to kick your butt. I guess they let you off easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
exactly.
did. So what's crazy is a moment later, we're enjoying the next song that comes on. And this guy taps me on the shoulder. It's a security guy in the blue jackets. And he gives me back the jersey. And he says, I don't suggest you put this back on.
So great.
So I put it in my
Yeah.
pocket and enjoyed the rest of the concert. It was great.
I love it. Awesome. We're big music fans too. Well,
Yeah,
cool.
me too. It's always good.
It is. Oh, it's always good. So good for the soul. It really is. So you moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee,
Yes.
and for college, music. So did you live with anybody in Pennsylvania, or did you tell us, kind of give us some of that backstory?
In Pennsylvania, I lived with my family. So my roommates were my parents and my brother.
Sometimes the
couldn't
worst.
really choose them.
Yeah, sometimes the worst of roommates.
Yeah, sometimes the worst. but at least my mom put us all in shape and make sure everybody, did their chores. But then I moved to Nashville for school, and that was my first experience having a roommate when I was a freshman, and that
Okay.
was the most interesting experience. If we kind of want to start with, the worst.
Well,
She
actually,
was
so really quick. Sorry to cut you off.
no,
Sometimes it's best to give some random stories, kind of lead into it, and then
Or if it's good, I mean, I don't know, she can hit us straight with it.
yeah,
It's
you can
up
hit it
to
straight
you.
with it. Go for it.
Because so your roommate,
I mean,
your worst roommate scenario was your first roommate.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Really? And so was this
Yes.
a pair? How did you guys connect?
So we were random roommates. I think I filled out a survey about
Oh.
what dorm I wanted to live in and maybe what my major was, and they paired us up. That seemed safer than like the Facebook groups, which I know sounds crazy, but I was really afraid of joining the Facebook group and like meeting someone and sort of having this idealized version of them because of course nobody posts like I'm a slob and
Right.
I'm going to be
Sure.
coming home drunk at
Yeah.
11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Um,
true.
So, I was like, let me just do random. And then if they suck, like, we don't even have to be friends. I can just, learn to live with them. So she's a random roommate and we get connected over the summer. We're texting back and forth. She seems very nice, very normal. We find out that actually her parents or her grandparents used to have a vacation home kind of near my house. It's a whole like, whoa, small world. And we move in together and things are good. I think it was one of those things where, you're a freshman in college and you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And you sort of have this kind of like built-in best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were best friends. We had the same major. We both liked makeup and we both liked going to concerts. So we got along. And then we sort of created a bigger friend group out of our like orientation groups.
Oh,
Basically, they had all the freshmen do
yeah.
like activities and stuff first week. So we're in this big group of friends and everything is going great. And then I start dating one of the members of the friend group. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, that was a bad idea. And after a little while, it proved to be, but originally we were kind of talking to the other friends and we were like, we want to be transparent and we want to, let you guys know what's going on. And, we don't want to make anybody uncomfortable and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, like, that sounds great. Like, love that for you guys. But she did not love that for us.
Mic drop.
Okay.
But she did not love that for us.
She did not love that for us. So one time she came into our room, like literally just laying down, like nothing was going on. We were both just like laying on my bed, and she's like, "I just walked in on you two making out. Like I'm so uncomfortable, like blah blah blah." And I was like, "I'm not sure what you're talking about," because we were just kind of laying here, but okay. And she starts getting kind of weird about us spending time together. And I guess we just kind of start to reduce PDA around her. I never really thought we had a big problem with it, but we kind of tone things down. And then she gets like super into our relationship again. So she was the only one who had a car our freshman year.
Oh.
So she was like the go-to ride to get groceries and oh, let's all go to the movies. And she was like, I can drive you guys on dates, like that'd be so fun. And we were both kind of like, Uber exists, like we don't want you to be driving. Like that's like the weirdest, like you're inviting yourself to third wheel.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's kind of a weird offer. I mean, maybe
Isn't
once.
that weird?
Yeah, maybe like once if somebody offered when we were early on dating, like, hey, we'll take you like out, and because they had a car, like, okay, cool. But like to religiously ask somebody, like, here, let me drive you guys, or I'll take you. Yeah, that's weird.
Almost as if they're insisting.
Yeah, or like they're your mom or something.
That's like weird.
It was a little bit
That's
strange.
Weird energy.
And didn't have that much money. We were going off campus that often anyway.
I can see you getting out of the car, and she says to the boyfriend or partner, "Have her back by 11."
Yeah,
Right,
right.
exactly. Yeah, as though he's gonna drive me back. Like, you need to come pick us up too.
Yeah.
So then Christmas happens. We all celebrate Christmas together as a friend group. We all get each other gifts. And her birthday was in December. So my mom sent her a birthday gift, and everybody
Nice.
leaves for Christmas break, and it's fine.
Okay, I just
While
have to
I'm home,
ask. I just have to ask what day is her birthday in December?
Oh man. I feel like it was like the 21st. I don't.
Oh.
I've blocked a lot of her out. I've got the details of
Yeah.
this story.
Yeah.
I'm a December baby. I'm like, I don't want to share my birthday with this girl. I feel she's a kook coming on.
When's your birthday?
Mine's December 6th.
Oh, then you're good.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking, well, if she's a Sagittarius like myself, crazy. It explains a lot.
What if Vivian was like, yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the
December
birthday.
6th. That's the one.
Oh no.
Sorry. I had to ask.
I forgot we used to live together. But we all go home, and she sends my mom a thank you card for this birthday gift, and she's like, thank you for this gift. Like, you have raised such a great daughter. I'm so lucky to get to live with her, blah blah blah. And we think everything's good. And we all go back to school, and we need groceries. And she says, hey, I'm gonna run to go get groceries, like, do you want to come with me? And I said, yeah. Is it cool if, we'll call him Jake, is it cool if Jake, my boyfriend, comes? And she's like, oh, I'll take you, but I won't take Jake.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Jake, is there? And I said, did something happen? And she said, no, I just don't really care about him, and I don't want to be friends with him. And I was like, whoa, okay. Because we were friends like 3 weeks ago before we all went home. But I was a bit of a pushover and bad at standing up for myself. So I said, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll just get his grocery list and just get his groceries for him. And we do all that, and then we get home that night, and I'm like, is something up between the two of us? I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Like, what is going on?
Oh, you ask her.
Yes. I ask her, what is happening between the two of us. And she says, and I kid you not, she says, I just don't like you. And I said,
what?
Did I do something? She said, you didn't do anything. You're honestly a really good roommate. I just don't like you.
That's unexpected.
I kind of feel like she's a murderer or like a sociopath or something.
She's just like, I don't like you. And so I'm just stunned.
Wait,
laying
so
in the dark.
This is 3 weeks after she writes a handwritten, mind you, letter to your mother saying what a wonderful individual she's raised, how special you are, how great you are. So there's clearly something's. How do you feel at this point? Are you kind of concerned that this girl's like not well, maybe?
I am just so beyond confused. Like, I don't even think I could even think that maybe something was wrong with her or something. I was just like, I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
What is going on? Everything's been turned upside down. So I get very upset, of course, and excuse myself to go cry in the lobby of the dorm building, which I did a lot for various reasons. And, the next morning I text her and I say, hey, can we meet with our RA, our, resident advisor or whatever, to talk about this? And she says, yeah, is there something you want to talk about? I said, you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
First thing is beaming off my radar is, are we talking split personality disorder here?
Yeah, like that's what I'm like, what?
Like,
I don't know if she was just like, maybe if we pretend it didn't happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
whoa.
she's like, well, what do you want to talk about? And I said, about the fact that you just decided that you don't like me anymore. And she's like, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, if you really want to talk about that with our RA.
Well, and can you do me a favor, Vivian? Set the stage for the listeners. How close of proximity are you living with this girl who has now made you feel uncomfortable, told you she doesn't like, done all this weird, psychologically kind of weird things. How close of proximity? Like, how small is your dorm?
Oh, we were living in like a little square.
Okay, so it's one of those.
Yeah, it's like one room, like her bed on one side, my bed on the other side.
yeah.
A little walk path through the middle,
Oh,
huh?
uncomfortable. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Like
know exactly
if
what
we
you're talking about.
both like, you know, laid down on each end of the room, we'd probably be able to touch hands. So
Yeah.
I could not avoid seeing her.
Yeah.
'Cause if I rolled over, she would be there.
Yeah.
So it was pretty close quarters, and I was like, we need to get to the bottom of this because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I just forgot a whole nother thing.
Please,
That's so okay.
fill us
Yeah.
in. We got to hear this.
No, you
I'm
really
sorry,
did
that's
black
not-
out.
No, don't be sorry.
No,
Fill
you
us
really
in.
did black out the
I really
past.
did. Whoever's editing this is gonna have to cut it all up together. So much happened. So actually, there were two other things. Me and Jake, we started dating, and she starts a group chat with the rest of our friends.
Yeah.
And it's basically like talking crap and just being like, just to our dating and I hate it and blah blah. And like day one of them comes to me and is like, just so you know, this is. And I was like, whatever, like let her get it out of the system, you know, blah blah blah. So that has been going on in the background the whole time. And also before is that before or after? At some point in between, she had decided that she wanted to set some boundaries. And that is great. I love boundaries. So she wanted me to let her know if Jake was going to be in the room. And then those boundaries changed to Jake can't be in the room if I'm here. And I was like, whatever, that's fair. It's your room too. But then one time, Jake and I were leaving as she was coming into the dorm. And she told me that was too much and she didn't ever want to have to cross paths with him.
And nothing happened leading up to this. It was like a flip of a switch.
If something happened, it was never revealed to me. If something happened between the two of them, it was never revealed to me. So yes, all of this weird stuff is all happening. And I'm like, we need to go talk to an adult about this. Because this is nuts.
Where my mind would race is, if I was in your position, would be, is she attracted to one of the two of us?
That's what I'm thinking.
Or maybe she has these, reservations against the boyfriend because maybe she knows some drama that you are unaware of.
Yeah.
And she's like disgusted by him, his actions.
But then because then she said straight up to her face, I don't like you.
But this would have been beforehand.
I know, but it just, I think she likes you. Okay, we're dying. Sorry, we're guessing.
When I give you more information, lots of people have the guess that she was either into me or into Jake.
Yeah.
Because we go to talk to our RA and, I explain the situation and she says something to the effect of, I have a lot of anxiety because I don't feel like I have control over your relationship.
Oh, Jesus.
And I said, you don't. You're not in the relationship.
And you're welcome.
Right. Yeah. You are not responsible for this at all.
What?
And, she is going on and on. Like, my therapist says that I should move out and like blah, 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 because your relationship is giving me too much anxiety. And I'm sitting here like, girl, first of all, don't talk to me about anxiety. Second of all, what does me having a boyfriend have to do with your anxiety? And I pull out my one good card and I say, well, what about this group chat that you started to basically just like talk crap about me?
There you go, the ace of spades.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I pulled that one out of my back pocket. And you want to know what she said? She said, oh, I didn't know that you knew about that.
Doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Doesn't mean you didn't do it. It doesn't mean it's okay. Yeah. So
did anyone ever show you what she had written in the group text?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe that part was made up, but I don't think so. I don't know why those
Doubtful.
others
She
have been out to
sounds
get me, but
yeah. No, yeah,
She's like trying to conspire behind your back.
I mean, listen, if everybody was against us, Jake turned out to be bad news. So I really wish that somebody would have had an inkling and maybe let me know before I let so much time pass. But that's a whole nother story. And then part of this whole story is that I was a freshman and I was not good at standing up for myself. And so I was the one who moved out. I had to find a new roommate, pack up all my stuff, like move to another room in the building, and she just got to have like her own big empty room.
If you don't mind, elaborate on that a little bit more. How inconvenient is it for you to have to unpack everything, change spots where you're living? Dorms are different than, an apartment where you have to pay for a new down payment and everything like that. But how inconvenient is that? It's
very inconvenient. There are not really a lot of empty dorm rooms. And, I found a couple people that had empty rooms and I was meeting up with them. And one girl was like really weird. She talked to me for hours and hours about like how we could live together and like, like what her, like I get up early and I go to bed early and like, what do you do and blah, blah. And then at the end she said like, like this has been a really great discussion. I just don't think I want a roommate.
Oh.
And I obviously was not going to move in with somebody who was hostile towards me, but I kind of wanted to say to her, like, this is university housing. If I decide I want to live here, I'm moving in. Like, this isn't like your apartment that you're inviting me into.
Yeah, this isn't a Craigslist ad response.
Exactly. And it's like, you could get any other random roommate at any time. So if you think I'm all right, like you might as well just kind of for safety snatch me up. But I finally found someone. It wasn't moving apartments is, you have all the furniture.
Yeah.
So that was, there was a lot less of a burden there.
Yeah.
But it's annoying. And like, I didn't have anybody to help me and she certainly wasn't going to help me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of like waiting until she wasn't home.
Oh, so awkward.
Right. It was. And then the girl that I moved in with was just like the most normal, literally fine person.
Oh, thank God.
Her name was Katie. Shout out to Katie. But yeah, that was the first time I ever had a roommate, was the worst time I've ever had a roommate.
Controlling what seems to be split personality disorder. You're talking like, and I'm not diagnosing anybody here. However, to write
some weird shit
to write a letter to your mom claiming how amazing you are, 3 weeks later, I just don't like you. It just something
didn't add
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
trying to stir up something. I don't know what, I mean, we all have mental health things that we're going through. I don't think that she had anything super severe. I think that she was just kind of
a control freak and mean.
And
yeah.
Or she might have that characteristic that is they need to be needed, whether it's the car situation or, let's just say your mom hyped her up to you and you come back and now all of a sudden you're praising her and you love her and you're all crazy about her. They like need to be needed.
Yeah, that's like totally a personality trait. Have we lived with anybody who feels like they need to be needed? I don't think we really have.
No, luckily, no.
No, I don't think so. But I do think that that's like that could have been part of it for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was, I mean, so shitty, but also like out of the end of the day, what would you say your biggest learning lesson was from living with her?
Your first roommate in college.
It was like a crash course. I think the biggest lesson that I began learning, but that I feel like I'm still continuing to learn as I have new roommates, is how to kind of have conversations about how to live together.
Yeah.
Because I think that, especially freshman year, it's like, oh, like, we're best friends and we live together and blah, blah. But then you find out like, oh, you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you turn all the lights on and that makes me want to stab you.
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
So just, like just things like that of like, hey, this is my pet peeve, or like, hey, we need a system for who takes out the trash or whatever.
That's a very good point. I had a roommate in college, and it was probably the third year of college. Yeah, third year of college. I really appreciated this because I recognize first and foremost I never do it, and I made it a point not to do it. But you know when you might say something or you have a reaction and people go,
Oh yeah.
that was his biggest pet peeve. He says, no matter what you do, please never go. He just
Why? That's
couldn't
so weird.
stand it. It's to each their own, right? I just, respected it and admired it. And, not admired, but respected it and made sure to humor him. Like, don't go.
So like what I do every time you're driving a car.
When she's driving, when I'm driving, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
you go.
He's like, that car's 50
Ripping
feet
the
in front of
little
us.
side
Yeah,
thing.
literally.
Oh,
But
shit
that's-
handle.
Yeah, so it's like respecting people. Like, listen, like I think that's like a perfect transition too into talking about our sponsors, right? Chillo. It's a mobile app on iOS, App Store, and Android that individuals can download to have those conversations and see not only what an individual has said, like in terms of an endorsement, right? So on Chillo, you can endorse your former roommate, whether they were clean or courteous or right.
Kind of like how you did with Katie. Shout out to Katie. She's amazing. And then you
Yeah.
could list as an endorsement why she's so great.
Right. Like, what are the qualifications or what are the qualities that makes Katie so great? And then Katie goes and gets a new roommate and she's built this kind of like roommate resume, if you will, that
Yeah.
people go, okay, early riser, pays on time, not a party animal, smoker, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these different, profile building and endorsements from previous roommates that can let somebody else go, we're compatible. Let's securely chat within the app. And I think that's, what at least we were missing in college, right? Where whether you were paired with somebody because you went in as a freshman or, you went in as a sophomore, junior, senior, whatever it was, you went to college, in your hometown and you moved out. And you're like, where do we go? What do we, it's you're relying on these like archaic systems like Facebook groups, like you alluded to, or like, God forbid, Craigslist. You don't want to get Craigslisted.
Absolutely not.
It's
I
like-
would.
No, right? Like, okay, here's what gets me about Craigslist. And again, why I love the transparency of Chillo. Chillo, it's like, they build their profile, they say who they are, about them. You can see previous endorsements. You can actually run your own background or ID check on yourself. And when it clears, you get a cleared background or ID check badge. You have a verified phone number. I mean, it's really like, okay, here are the profile pictures. Here's who I'm getting. Craigslist, they hide your email. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
No.
They don't even show the real email of the person you're emailing. It's like a Craigslist 256789 at Craigslist.com email address.
Oh, so you don't know anything about them.
You don't know
No.
anything
Speaking
about
of
them.
a fun stat that I learned through Craigslist research, every single day in the housing department alone, this is a couple years ago too,
This was a while ago.
every single day in the housing department of Craigslist, there are 75,000 posts of people who want roommates or places to live or whatever. 25% of those are fake.
Totally fraud, total scams.
I believe it.
Yeah. So they can go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When I was looking for roommates, because I just moved very recently, in sort of kind of it was like a dire moving situation, and I had to just live with some friends that I'm gesturing towards as though you can see them. They're in another room, but there were so many ads that were just like a blurry picture of a house, and it was like master bedroom, $200, and I was like, no, it's not. Like,
Yeah, no way.
That's a
do
scam.
nobody go in there.
No, and it's like, but it's $200. And so what you need to do is, unfortunately, my brother went to Guam and I need you to send the money via wire. And you're like, okay, because that adds up. Like we are in
Send me the
2022.
deposit. Send me the down payment. Whatever that may be.
So for all of you listening out there, download Chillo. You're looking for an affordable place to live, looking for that credible roommate. You're avoiding getting Craigslisted and obviously ending up with a roommate like Vivian's. Download Chillo on the Chillo app store or Google Play Store today for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So Vivian, usually around this time, we listen to call-ins or if we have found a pretty solid TikTok, we also will play a TikTok of a roommate horror story as well. So we have found one on Say Grace on TikTok, and we'll go ahead and listen to it. And you want to add anything?
Yeah, this will be good.
This will be good.
This will be
Okay.
good.
Favorite thing to do is rename name people's pets so that they only respond to that name. I had this roommate who had a cat named Domino, but it didn't look like a domino, so I started calling it Snomino, which then turned into Snommy or Snoms. And let me just say, she did not take care of this cat. Like, she should not have had this cat. So one night, we ended up finding out that she's been using the money that we were giving her to pay our Wi-Fi bill to buy Ipsy bags instead. And when we confronted her, she tried to, it's not funny, she tried to leap from a moving vehicle on the interstate so that we couldn't possibly be upset with her for using said money to buy Ipsy bags. Naturally, obviously, the police took her to the mental hospital, and while she was gone, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take care of her cat, because nobody else was. Previously, if you called the cat's name, Domino, it would come running. So I said, that simply will not do. I started calling it Snommy and Snomino. This cat and I were best buds. I feel like my roommate was gone for like 2 weeks, if not more. And this cat slept with me like every night. I took care of it. And by the time she got back, she walked through the door and was like, Domino, Domino. Cat was not coming. And I said, oh, fuck. Domino. And the cat comes running.
Oh my God. And so Bridget, when you're listening to this, cut it right at that moment, because the rest is kind of BS. But anyways, back to the podcast. Okay, so there was so much to unpack in that.
As a pet owner, I would be pissed if you, is it Mavlovs? Anyway, I would be
Pavlov?
Pavlovs. I would be pissed if you Pavlovs, can't even say it.
Can't even say it. Pavloved
Yeah.
your dog or your cat and changed its name.
I'd be so pissed.
I mean, what were you going to say, Vivian?
Oh, well, I was going to say I have a confession.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, you did not
Let's
change
hear
a
it.
pet's name of your roommates.
I have never, intentionally or successfully been able to, teach a pet, like make it forget its old name, but I have taught all of my friends' pets different names. If you're like, this is my pet, whatever. I have a friend, her dog is named Kai. I've never once called him Kai. I call him Mr. Mans.
No correlation.
Named Celine. I call her Bean. I refuse to address the pets by their, I guess given names.
Yeah.
But I never thought that maybe they would forget their original name.
That's great.
Well, but I mean, let's not forget that not only did she, where was the roommate who Domino's owner, where was she? She was in a psych ward because she jumped out of a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
Because she was taking their rent money and buying Ipsy bags.
I didn't even know that Ipsy was still a thing. How expensive is your Wi-Fi? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Right.
like what?
We have had a roommate take the money and lose it in Vegas before.
Like go and gamble when we mean lose it. Like
And we
took
can-
it and gambled it
We
and
were gone-
lost it.
Yeah, we were gone for 2 weeks on a vacation for Thanksgiving getaway. So took time off work, whatever. Alexis was always really good at taking everybody's rent money and paying the landlord. Well, we gave the rent money to somebody else, and she literally went to Vegas and lost it. So we returned to the apartment to see an eviction notice on the front door. 2 weeks later.
God.
Yeah,
That's
2 weeks later.
I don't trust anybody else to pay my rent. I'm always in control of all of that. 'Cause what if that happens?
100%. Yeah, lesson learned. That
happened
was
in
our
2000
first.
2010.
That was our first roommate experience. So I get you when you're scarred from your first.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you think that maybe she'd make double the rent and pay you guys back? Like, what was her game plan?
I don't think there was
That's
one.
the $1 million question.
It's fair.
It's fair. That's fair. Wait, and I love the just pure honesty Vivian has. She goes, yeah, I'm guilty. I do the same thing.
Sometimes I do not steal people's rent money and go and blow it in Vegas. But I will rename people's pets. So
I
sorry
love
about
that.
Sorry
That
about
is
that.
so great. Snomino is so great.
Snobby.
Wow.
I think that Domino could still recognize Snomino though. That
Yeah.
feels like enough of the same letters. Maybe he just had
Absolutely.
a personal vendetta against that woman and her voice.
Right?
That's funny.
That is great. The one that you're sharing right now went viral on TikTok, right?
Yes. And she actually saw it.
Oh,
How did
she
that go?
did.
How did that go? I want to hear
Wait
this.
a second. Okay, time to unpack.
I mean, that's kind of like the biggest shocker of the story. She commented just like LOL or something.
She commented on the TikTok that went viral about
did.
her.
And then I had another TikTok. I don't know if you'd consider it viral, but it did kind of well. And it was like a song that I written with my band about like when somebody just randomly decides that they don't like you. And it was actually not about her. That's happened to me twice in my life.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, so it was bad. I did not live with that girl, but she was just like, I just like don't really want to be friends. I was like, whoa. But anyway, I had written this song about, when people just randomly decide not to be your friend. And she commented, hey, on that one. And a girl that I guess was her friend commented something like, she probably didn't want to be friends with you anyway. Sucks. And then I've never seen her on any of my posts ever again. But she knows that the post exists, and I'm like a little bit terrified that she's still stalking all my profiles, that she's gonna find this.
Yeah.
What did you think the likelihood of her seeing that was?
So low. I mean, the internet is like, I don't want to sound like someone's grandma, but like the internet is nuts.
And it's massive
crazy.
too, to like come across that.
Right? I'm sure that like she was in my contacts, or like my
Right.
metadata said that I followed her on Instagram
Yes.
4 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that somehow
Some sort of algorithm
Picked it up
probably prompted your reel or story or feed
on
to
her
then
For You page.
to then show up on her For You page. Yeah.
Actually,
I
yeah.
looked nothing like I did in college. I had changed my name, as we discussed earlier.
right.
Like, so there was no, I mean, I guess she just recognized my face and was like, oh, like, I wonder what Vivian's talking about. But like, yeah, what are the odds? And then to be bold enough to comment. And I am not, I don't want to bully anybody on the internet, and I don't think I have, we talked about, oh, you almost have 50,000 followers. It's not like I have some sort of army or something.
Right.
But I was kind of like, whoa. Like, if you want to come at me on the internet, I think one of us has like a slightly better standing right now. You and your 200 very mean friends that are all commenting nasty stuff on my TikToks. But, yeah,
wait, and her friends are commenting on your TikToks.
Just a couple that were just like, she didn't want to be friends with you anyway.
Right.
And I was like, I legitimately saw this girl in ages. I did not realize it was still such a wound for her.
That's
oh
wild.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, if the viewers and listeners today that want more of Vivian and want to go see that TikTok, where can they find you on TikTok and
They
Instagram?
can find me on TikTok and Instagram at viviansmalls.mp3.
Love it.
Nice.
And that's for both platforms.
Yes, TikTok and Instagram.
Love it.
Well, shout out to you, Vivian.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. And of course, if you are wanting more roommate confessions, follow us on any podcast source or follow us on Instagram at Roommate Confessions Pod. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and pull us up here really quick. We can edit this out.
At one of these weeks, you're going to memorize the phone
I
number.
know, one of these weeks. Yeah. And all the extra time I have. And for those that want to share their roommate horror stories to have a chance to be featured on the podcast for a call-in, call us at 650-271-9641 and go ahead and leave us your roommate horror story for a chance to be featured as well. And of course, we can't forget about our wonderful sponsors, Chillo, the mobile app to help you find a roommate you don't want to kill. You can go ahead and follow them at Chillo App, ChilloWapp on TikTok and Instagram. Vivian, thank you for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Awesome. And that rounds it out for Roommate
All right,
Confessions.
we did it.
We did it. Join us next time.
We did it.
Thank you, everyone.